Hey guys, just a quick analysis on what we're looking for this coming week. Starting with the dollar index as usual, because we must determine the dollar direction before we can trade other pairs. So if you look at the dollar the previous week, we had this candlestick which tested this zone and was rejected. So last week, the week that has just ended, our prediction was that we're going to have a strong dollar, and that's exactly what has happened. So we've seen the dollar gaining some strength. So what I was looking for this past week actually, because I knew the dollar was supposed to be strong, I mean higher chances. So you come and mark the best zone. For NT, this is the best zone because you want the dollar to come and retrace before it can continue going higher. That's exactly what happened on the 1 hour time frame on Friday. The dollar, dropped down. They tested this zone and acted as if it's actually bearish, but then it started going up. So what I'm looking for this week on the US dollar index, I'm looking for further bullish continuation. I don't think we have any reason to be shorting the dollar yet, unless we get any, change in market structure. But so far, the structure is still very bullish. Also, the news, the CPI, the FOMC meetings have both been positive, so I'm looking for a strong dollar this coming week. So the advantage of knowing where the dollar is going, it just helps you to trade pairs that have dollar as their quote currency, the likes of EURUSD, GBPAUD, because these pairs behave the opposite of the dollar. So when the dollar is strong, most pairs like EURUSD, GBPAUD, pairs that have dollar as their quote currency are gonna be doing the opposite. On the other hand, when the dollar is strong or weak, pairs that have the dollar as their base currency are going to be doing the same thing as the dollar. That means when dollar is buying, you're looking for a strong USDCHF this coming week, and we're looking for short positions on EURUSD, GBPUSD, EAUD. So let's move to the next thing that I'm watching. So the next one is USDCHF. I sent this analysis to the group last week. So of course, when USDCHF looking from the daily time frame, you can tell clearly that price is still very bullish based on the fact that the dollar is still strong. We had the Friday's candlestick closing very bullish. So there is no indication yet for, looking for short positions on USDCHF. If anything, I'm looking for a strong USDCHF at least maybe until this next zone where we can get rejection. So on the on the 1 hour time frame, on USDCHF, I'll be looking specifically for bullish positions. Higher chances are that it might retrace a little bit, maybe to this point here. We just play around here, then we might see it moving further up. So that's what I'm looking for in USDCHF. Next is EURUSD, because this is a pair of interest to many people. So EURUSD, as I've said, we are looking for the opposite of what the dollar is supposed to be doing. So we are looking for a weak EURUSD. I had a trade on EURUSD this Friday, which actually performed well, but because of volatility, it didn't go very far. But with the daily time frame, as you can see, price is on a general downtrend. It's quite clear, you can just see price is on a general downtrend. So we have no reason to be buying. We're still going short. So what we're looking for in EURUSD is a further bearish continuation. From my last week analysis, I mentioned that whenever we have such a pair, whenever we have such a pattern here where price has a small candlestick, it goes up, and then it comes and breaks down. It's an indication that the price is bearish, and I mentioned that price is supposed to retrace at least to this zone. You mark this zone. That's exactly what it actually did. So sometimes these things you can just see them, because of a lot of practice. So on the 1 hour time frame, I had a sell on EURUSD on Friday, and my reason was price retraced to the zone that I just marked on the daily time frame. So when it retraces here, it's very clear that we had an M pattern. I want you to see we had this small game here, then we had a breakout candlestick. So when you have a breakout candlestick there, you wait for price to retrace to the neckline. You wait for price to come and retrace to the neckline, which is at this point where we had the breakout. So when price retraces, that's where you have your entry point. You have your stop loss somewhere above that high, then you have your reward depending on that you're looking for. So what I'm looking for this week on EURUSD, I'm looking for a further bearish continuation. Now we might have some games. We might see EURUSD also playing a little bit. Maybe it might retrace or it might drop immediately. But whatever it happens, it's just a matter of looking for the right entry point on EURUSD bearish trade. Next pair is EURAUD, my favorite pair to trade because it always respects market analysis and it's quite volatile most of the time. So it's very easy for you to get something reasonable. So the monthly time frame, just based on last week's analysis again, we had marked that we had a demand zone and price bounced off the demand zone. You see, the importance of understanding candlesticks is that it helps you to know what the market is actually trying to tell you. You interpret. You see, we had a drop of candlesticks here, price was dropping. Then when it gets to this demand zone, which is actually a zone of potential strong buyers, you want to see how price behaves. See, immediately what we had was a candlestick that is some sort of spinning top, which shows that we have rejection. We no longer have the long bearish candlesticks if as compared to what it was doing before. That's a good sign that price has reacted well to the demand zone. Then we have a long bullish candlestick which follows, and we've been seeing momentum on EURUSD since then. So on the weekly time frame, last week closed very bullish. So I might look for a little retracement just like what it did the other time. I wanted to see what happened with this candlestick. It's important to always look at the behavior of candlesticks, the history. You see here we had a very long bullish candlestick and we knew that price was going to buy, but it didn't buy immediately. So it acted as if it's buying, then it came and retraced all the way to this point, and it continued buying. So I'm looking for a similar thing this week. I'm looking for price to possibly retrace because I don't believe it's safe to just jump on a candlestick that has already moved, over 400 pips. It's not safe to jump on such a candlestick because you jump into a trade here and then what happens? Price starts doing these games that was happening here, and these games alone are enough to wipe your trade out. So I would do long story short, I'm looking for a bullish trade. I also had a bullish trade on EURUSD on Friday, performed very well here. So I'm looking for a retracement, possibly, possibly either to the 50% fib level or to the demand zone, which is below here. If it retraces somewhere at this point and we see a bullish pattern, well and good. But my ideal entry point will be for price to retrace all the way to this zone where we had this sort of pattern. Then we can see a further bullish continuation. That's it for EURUSD. Up next, EURNZD. Again, another very good pair to trade as long as you know the right direction. Also had a good setup on this one this week, performed very well. This one quite similar to EURUSD. Actually, the more you trade, the more you realize that these two pairs are quite similar. Doesn't mean that you use the signal of one to trade the other, but most of the times, their behaviors are quite similar. Weekly time frame, again, we have this sort of big reversal pattern. I'm just going to mark it to show you. See, price came here, bought, dropped lower. This is actually some sort of reversal pattern. So we say it's a reversal because at this point, price closed higher than this neckline. In short, price broke above this neckline. So when price breaks above this neckline, which is here, we now say that we have break of market structure, which is an indication that price is now bullish. So that's the analysis that I used last week, and it's actually played out this week that we've just been trading. So on the daily time frame, I think we've already had enough games. We've had a retracement, and the last Friday candlestick, we had a very strong bullish candlestick. So this one is very, very simple. This is where I'm looking for my entry point. I'm just going to mark it using the daily time frame. So the secret to actually getting your trade on the 1 hour time frame or a lower time frame is marking the best entry point using the higher time frame. Don't go to 1 hour and start looking for patterns everywhere. Those patterns will actually fail. If you want to find sustainable patterns, mark them using higher time frame. So for instance, here we have this breakout candlestick. So I want it to retrace at least to this zone where we had the breakout. So if price retraces here, that's where I'll be looking to go bullish on EURNZD on the daily time frame, on the 1 hour time frame. So that's the zone that I've marked. So don't be surprised to see price retracing somewhere here on Monday and then continuing to buy. Anyway, that's what I'm looking for on EURNZD. Maximum retracement zone is where we have our next rejection on the 1 hour, and this is where we have the next rejection here. So that's the maximum retracement point of EURNZD. If price doesn't start buying from the first point on the daily time frame, then this could be the next possible zone. If it doesn't do either of that, then it might just be disrespecting the analysis, so that might no longer be valid. But that's it for EURNZD, looking for a bullish trade. So yeah. Next is GBPAUD. Had a trade on Friday but didn't take it, but had a good trade on Monday somewhere here. Got about, I think Monday it was somewhere here, yeah. Got about 200 pips plus. I did the breakdown somewhere on my YouTube. So on the weekly time frame, the foundation of our analysis remains the same. We have this rejection candlestick, which is like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and then we had a long bullish candlestick which engulfed all these candlesticks, an indication for a strong, bullish momentum. Then we had this spinning top, another bullish candlestick. So long story short, all indications are showing us that GBPAUD is quite strong. So what I'm looking for next week is a possibly, continuation of strong bullish momentum on GBPAUD. So we might have some little retracement maybe to this zone here. Let me just mark what I'm looking for. What I'll be looking for on Monday or whatever day of the week is for price to retrace to this zone here. This is where we had the breakout from. So when price retraces to that zone, if we can have some indication that price wants to become bullish here, to me that will be a very good entry point, and the stop loss somewhere below here, and then looking for further bullish GBPAUD. That's it for this pair. Finally, USDJPY. Again, we had an analysis on Friday. We had an entry point here. I had a buy limit. Unfortunately, price never triggered the limit, continued buying. But that's not a very bad, indication anyway. At the end of the day, we still know where the direction is. From the last week analysis, I marked the zone above there, and my prediction was that because this is the next supply zone. So in short, this is the next zone where we're expecting to see some strong rejection of buyers trying now to reject this move. So I'm still expecting the same thing, strong USDJPY at least to that zone. So on the 4-hour time frame, I'll be looking for possible retracements. Though the problem of trading such pairs that are moving like this with no retracement, it's very hard to jump in. So you'd rather focus on other pairs, but I think we might have some maybe good retracement depending on how the dollar behaves. Some good retracement maybe to this zone here. If we can get to this zone, then I'll be looking for a further bullish, USDJPY. If it cannot get to that zone and it continues going higher, well and good, but that's a mistrade. So apart from that, I think on the GBP pairs, I haven't done most analysis. I haven't done a lot of analysis because pound pairs have been behaving in a very weird way. And in my trading style, one thing that I avoid is pairs that are very confused. For example, for pound, I had this zone marked, so I was expecting it to drop. It actually did that, but it's not whether it dropped or not. It's the manner in which the price is dropping. You see all these candlesticks spiking up and down, up and down. It's not a very good sign to be trading. So for now, I'm not really trying to trade so much the pound pairs also because of the crazy volatility. So pound pairs have been very, very crazy in terms of volatility. You come and get your trade, let's say somewhere here, and you're supposed to put your stop loss down here. You see it's already as big as 75 pips. So, the risk to reward is good, but that's not my usual type of trade. So I think that's it for this week. You can join our, signals. The link is in the description. Yeah, for free.